All right, we're back on the SportsMax Zone, and Liverpool, they are the 2024-2025 English Premier League champions. The Reds confirmed their 20th top-flight title on Sunday at Anfield in front of a jubilant home crowd after a commanding 5-1 comeback win over Tottenham Hotspur. The result secured an unassailable 15-point lead atop the standings with 4 matches to play. Well, with this victory, Liverpool draw level with Manchester United as England's most successful top-flight club, both now boasting 20 league titles. And unlike their last triumph in the 2020-21 season, when celebrations with fans were impossible due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this time celebrations and parades are expected across the city. Well, speaking to reporters after the record-equaling title win, manager Arne Slot says winning the league was his top priority.
I noticed from the first day I came in that winning the league would be the most special trophy we could win. And yeah, I think I felt that throughout the whole season, although we were all very disappointed when we were knocked out by Paris Saint-Germain. But we always felt there was a bigger goal to achieve. And to do that in the most difficult league in the world is in a period of time where it gets harder and harder and harder, probably to win it is very special.
All right, joining us this afternoon via Zoom to delve deeper into Liverpool's triumph is one of our football correspondents, Simon Evans. Simon, good afternoon. It's been a while, and so happy that you could join us on the show this afternoon.
Yeah, great to be back, and lots to talk about.
Yes, so much to talk about. So let's start by talking about Liverpool winning this English Premier League title in fine style. And, there's so many different storylines to, of course, tear apart as we do that. But let's start with the first question. An expected win for Liverpool, right?
Well, I mean, it's easy to say that now, but when Jurgen Klopp left the club, a lot of the talk was about whether there would be a transitional period. How long would it take Arne Slot to settle in? How long would Liverpool adjust to a slightly different way of playing? Would that magic aura that Klopp had around the club disappear? And I think it was far from guaranteed. A lot of people looked at Arsenal this year at the start of the season and thought they were going to be the team that would push the hardest. Nobody expected Manchester City to decline as rapidly and as dramatically as they have done. So I think it was far from guaranteed, and it's a remarkable job Slot and the Liverpool players have done.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that you mentioned that, because I think this is the bigger point, because when Arne Slot got this Liverpool team, as a matter of fact, not too many changes were made within this Liverpool setup, and I'm talking about the players. What was the biggest question on everybody's lips because of the caliber of Jurgen Klopp and what he would have done with this Liverpool team? Everybody wondered, how difficult would it be for a new manager coming into the setup to manage personalities? And I'm talking about players like Virgil van Dijk, of course, Mohamed Salah. And I mean, I can go on and on. But Arne Slot came into this setup, Simon, and he made it look very, very seamless. Again, I think that is something that a lot of people would commend, just the ease in which he came into this setup. And it was as if Jurgen Klopp never really left.
Yeah, it was interesting at the end of the game that when Slot was on the field, one of the things he did, the first words really he did were to show his appreciation for Jurgen Klopp and lead a big chant amongst the fans about Klopp. And I think, understanding how big Klopp had been and that not everything needed to be changed was crucial. That was the first thing that I think was a sign that this was a mature coach coming in. And let's remember, Dutch coaches haven't done always very well in English football, as Manchester United know very well. And he came into a big challenge, and he was humble enough to realise that the guy who'd come before him had built something special, and he didn't need to put his imprint on the team straight away. That imprint has gradually, been evident. We've seen a slight change in the style of play, but also he's dealt with situations with players who are been out of contract, star players like Salah and Van Dijk and Alexander-Arnold, that could have really disrupted the team. And it's very easy for a manager going into a dressing room that's used to one man's message to not get that feeling with the dressing room. And that was what I think was the best achievement, really, was he managed to win that dressing room right from the word go and say, guys, what you've been doing here has been great. We're just going to carry on and we're going to make it even better and bring more success. And that's what he's done.
Yeah, Simon, before we continue to talk about Liverpool's success, just a moment to say congratulations to you and your favourite team, Burnley, in getting back into the English Premier League.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a remarkable season from Burnley with a defence that has broken records. Incredible number of clean sheets. 15 goals conceded all season. I could talk for half an hour about it, but I won't hijack your show and turn it into a Burnley podcast. So.
Yeah, we understand. And to the point that you made earlier on, at the start of the season, Liverpool were not favourites to win the English Premier League. Man City were favourites, Arsenal were second favourites, and Liverpool were third favourites based on most of the bookmakers. And, you know, I heard Slot speaking over the weekend and crediting the work that Klopp had done with this team, and to build on the point that you made earlier on, that he really didn't see at the start of his campaign a need to put his imprint on the team because of where Klopp had left it.
Yeah, and there's an ego factor there, isn't there, with managers and coaches? They want it to be seen that this is their team and their success. And so the temptation is to bring in a couple of their players from their previous club, or to bring in some players who are more suited to their system and what they want to do, and change things around, and so it becomes Arne Slot's Liverpool. And that's a temptation we've seen many managers fall for, and he didn't go down that route. He was humble enough to do that and smart enough to realise that Klopp had built something special. And you know, that was evident really how the way he talked at the end and the credit he gave to Klopp for that. But I think he's done that now, and I think in the future he'll start to get the credit that he deserves. You know, if they can go and win it again next season or the season after, then it starts another era for Liverpool. He knows he grabbed the baton from Jurgen Klopp, really, and now he's got to go on and build something of his own. That starts this summer, but what he's done this year has been exactly what you'd want, really, as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, and just something questionable about what he said in the post-match comment that he gave the media over the weekend, Simon, about them being eliminated from the Champions League but having a bigger prize to go for. I'm not too sure if the English Premier League is a bigger prize, is it, than the UEFA Champions League?
They're different, aren't they? Because one of them, you know, the Champions League is all about turning up in those big moments. You know, how many times have Real Madrid had pretty mediocre seasons and then won the Champions League? Many times. We've talked about it on this show many times. And Liverpool have been pretty good at that over the years as well. I mean, let's not forget when they beat AC Milan in Istanbul in 2005, I think it was. They weren't the best team in England at that time, but they won the European Cup. Winning the Premier League requires a level of consistency, week in, week out, and they had that. And a lot of that is to do with obviously their starting 11, but also having really strong backup players, a strong backup goalkeeper. Players who could come into the, you know, players like Joe Gomez who could come in anywhere into the back four and maintain that level week after week when the suspensions and the injuries kick in and so on. So it is different. You could argue it is more difficult to win the Premier League over a long season, but it's just different, isn't it? Different qualities required from a team. But to win either of them, you've got to be a very, very good football team.
Yeah, we know that. I'm not sure if Ricardo has any questions for you, Simon, because Man United fans aren't too happy with the fact that Liverpool are now level with them on 20 top-flight titles in England. Ricardo?
No, listen, this Manchester United fan has absolutely no issues with Liverpool getting to 20 if it means that Arsenal stays at, well, whatever they are.
Simon, I am not sure why Ricardo is so much against Arsenal. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's an interesting debate. I saw Jamie Carragher came out and said, well, now that we're level with them on the league titles won, and the fact that we've won 6 European Cups and Manchester United have only won 3, the debate is now over about who is the most successful club in English football. So that was an interesting one. Jamie Carragher, anyone who understands English accents, and of course he played for Liverpool as well, is a real Scouser, so he's going to make that point. But it's an interesting debate for sure.
Yeah, but you know, United fans like to focus on the Premier League and not the First Division title, which Liverpool have won a lot of.
Yeah, but I don't buy into this argument that, and I'm not a Liverpool fan at all, but I don't buy into this argument that football started with the Premier League. That First Division that was fought for decades before the Premier League came into existence, that was the biggest title you could win in English football. There's no difference between the two.
I agree with you, Simon.
Yeah. Well, Simon, congratulations to Liverpool. And of course, you know, thank you so much for the analysis. And we'll talk again really soon.
Look forward to it. Cheers.
Yeah. Simon Evans there, of course, our football correspondent. Up on a break, we'll be back with our interactive segment.